Today is Monday, July 17th. We're talking about a life-threatening heat wave that's impacting about a third of the country. It's expected to reach new highs this week. Also, the IRS says nearly 1.5 million Americans are owed money from the government, but today is the last day to claim it. Plus, researchers say they are on track to find the elusive fountain of youth. UPS is preparing for what could be the largest American labor strike in more than 60 years. And Barbie fans can stay in their very own Malibu Dream House for free. We'll explain. Those stories and more news to know in today's episode. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in about 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Lacey Evans, filling in for Erica Mandy today. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. A dangerous heat wave is now impacting about a third of all Americans. Already over the weekend, it was hovering over the west and the south, from Oregon to the southern tip of Florida. And now, for a lot of areas, there's no major cool down in sight. For the desert Southwest, that means temperatures that are easily in the 110s and even 120s in some places. A few spots might even linger near triple digits throughout the nights. So the National Weather Service is asking people to take the heat seriously and avoid time outside as much as possible. Already, many emergency rooms have been stretched to capacity, treating people with heat-related illnesses. But several cities have set up cooling centers for people who don't have access to AC. Even people who were hoping to escape extreme heat by going to Europe this summer are now out of luck. Another heat wave is happening overseas, and it's especially taking a toll on people in Italy, Spain, and Greece. On the islands of Sicily and Sardinia, temperatures could top 118 degrees this week. Rome could get as hot as 111 degrees. France, Germany, and Poland are expected to see extreme heat too. And that means some tourist attractions might close in the hottest parts of the day. Investigators think they finally found a serial killer who's been terrorizing Long Island, New York for more than a decade. Their investigation started back in 2010 when a woman disappeared, and in the search for her, they found at least 10 bodies. Flash forward to a few days ago, and they announced an arrest. Authorities say they tracked the man down using cell phone data, credit card bills, and DNA testing. Officially, the New York architect was charged with 3 murders, and he's still considered a suspect in at least one other. Investigators say they think he already had his sights on his next victim, too. Though he's pleading not guilty, for now he is being held in jail, and his wife and children are cooperating with the investigation. Meanwhile, in Georgia over the weekend, there was a massive manhunt for a gunman who shot and killed 4 of his neighbors in broad daylight. Eventually, officers cornered him, and in a shootout with police, he was killed. 2 officers were also hurt in that shootout, but they're expected to survive. This all started Saturday morning when authorities say the man opened fire in a neighborhood about 30 miles south of Atlanta. It's still not clear what motivated the shooter, but some people who saw him during the shooting rampage say he was running down a road, firing at people seemingly randomly. Now, the killing spree and the police response are under investigation, and a prayer vigil is being planned for this evening. The U.S., South Korea, and Japan have been working together for a rare joint missile defense drill. It comes in response to North Korea's evolving nuclear and missile threats. North Korea fired its latest intercontinental ballistic missile last week in what the government called a strong, practical warning to its enemies. That missile is believed to be capable of striking most, if not all, of the continental U.S. But now South Korea says it's been training with the U.S. and Japan to detect and track missiles like that one, and the 3 countries are apparently going to step up information sharing. North Korea has now fired off around 100 missiles since the beginning of last year, and the North is expected to add to that tally again later this month. There seems to be a new trend emerging at historic tourist attractions that's sparking outrage. In the last month, 2 different people were caught defacing the nearly 2,000-year-old Colosseum in Italy. First, it was a British tourist who has since apologized. Then, a Swiss teenager did the same thing. But this isn't just happening at the Colosseum. A Canadian tourist is now also accused of defacing a 1,200-year-old Japanese temple, which is one of Japan's protected historic monuments. All 3 suspected vandals were caught on camera, and they could now face thousands of dollars worth of fines and even prison time. More news is coming up, but first, here's your regular host, Erica Mandy, telling you about today's sponsor, Miracle Made.
Well, apparently, traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat. And that can't be good and could lead to issues with acne, allergies, and more. Well, Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent 99% of bacteria and require 3 times less laundry. Yes, these sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth. Plus, they are super soft. We have them on our bed right now, and my husband and I are very happy about it. They are so comfortable. So go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you are buying them for yourself or a gift for a loved one, if you order now, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Newsworthy at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/newsworthy and use the code newsworthy to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/newsworthy to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
Harvard researchers say they've discovered something pretty incredible, a mix of chemicals that can actually reverse aging. Through experiments on mice and monkeys, the researchers say they were able to reverse the visual signs of aging in less than a week. Separate studies on brains, muscles, and kidneys have also apparently shown promising results. Now they are preparing for human clinical trials. And if all goes well, scientists say their findings could advance treatments for age-related diseases, injuries, and potentially lead to whole-body rejuvenation in a single, affordable pill. But of course, this will have to go through a lot of regulatory hurdles before it's available to the masses, even if the trials are successful. So stay tuned. Shipping giant UPS is now preparing for what could be a historic worker strike. The company and workers' union have been trying to come to an agreement on a new contract for a while now, and the two sides have agreed on a lot of sticking points with dozens of agreements. But Bloomberg says they still can't seem to reach a deal on higher pay for part-timers, and no more negotiations have been scheduled. So the union says hundreds of thousands of workers are ready to strike in just a couple of weeks, and it's asking the White House to not get involved to prevent it. But a strike could be extremely disruptive. Americans right now send about 20 million packages a day through UPS. And one economic research firm says if a strike lasts 10 days, it would cost the U.S. economy more than $7 billion, making it the costliest work stoppage ever in American history. But UPS says it's trying to avoid that. It started to train its non-union American workers to continue at least some of the company's operations in case there's a strike. Of course, that would just be a temporary solution, and UPS says it's still hoping to make progress with union workers by the end of this month. To be continued. Twitter owner Elon Musk is opening up about the social media platform's financial troubles. He says Twitter has lost almost half of its ad revenue since last October when he bought the company. In an effort to cut costs, Musk has fired about half of Twitter's staff and cut cloud service bills. Still, nothing seems to be able to make up for the loss of advertisers. Musk says the company is struggling under a heavy debt load and cash flow remains negative. So, Twitter's new CEO, Linda Yaccarino, says ad sales are a priority. She told investors the company plans to focus on video as well as creator and commerce partnerships. It's also apparently in talks with political and entertainment figures, payment services, and news and media publishers. What's often considered the most prestigious tennis championship in the world wrapped up over the weekend. And on both the men's and women's sides, the winners were pretty unexpected. We'll start with the men's final. Carlos Alcaraz won his first Wimbledon title by beating the overwhelming favorite Novak Djokovic. That marked Djokovic's first finals loss at the All England club in a decade. Djokovic says he's never played anyone quite like Alcaraz, calling him the best player in the world. As for the women, Marketa Vondrousova became the first unseeded woman to win the famous tournament. Some reports now call her the most unlikely Wimbledon champion ever. She went from being a 250-1 shot on the first day of the tournament to being the all-out winner. Next up, the final major of the year, the US Open, gets underway next month. The latest Mission Impossible movie dominated the box office charts over the weekend, but it still fell short of expectations. The action-adventure movie brought in more than $56 million between Friday and Sunday in the US and Canada. That's considered a lackluster start, since the movie cost nearly $300 million to make before marketing. But when you look at the international box office, the movie brought in $235 million, the biggest global start ever for a Mission Impossible movie, and it's expected to keep bringing in money throughout the summer. Though, starting next weekend, it will have even more highly anticipated competition. The war drama Oppenheimer and live-action Barbie movie both come out on Friday. Speaking of Barbie, a real-life Barbie Dream House is reopening its doors in Malibu. And today, people can make reservations on Airbnb. The company is giving away 2 free one-night stays for up to 2 people each night. Guests can swim in the ocean view pool, work out in a rooftop gym, and party on a disco roller rink with a DJ deck. Plus, the closets are full for anyone who wants to play dress-up, just like Barbie and Ken. To try your luck booking the Dream House, you'll have to log in right at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The bookings are first come, first served. That's it for the main news, so now it's time for Money Monday, where we talk about one interesting money-related news story. But first, here's Erica again with a message from our sponsor, ZocDoc.
Well, I do think Google and social media can be helpful resources for gathering information and having good questions to ask. I definitely do not think they should be your go-to places for medical information and diagnoses. They can cause unnecessary anxiety and, to be honest, have questionable sources as so-called experts. So when I really need to know what's going on with my health or my family's health, I turn to trusted professionals with the credentials in that specific area instead of random people on the internet. And ZocDoc offers a great way to find some of those actual experts that are nearby, available, and take your insurance. Yes, ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. No more scouring the internet for unclear and conflicting answers. Join the millions of people already using this free app. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy.
Now back to Money Monday. The IRS is putting out what's basically a last call. The agency thinks almost $1.5 billion in tax refunds from 2019 was never claimed, and more than 1 million Americans are entitled to a share of it. For some, that share could be thousands of dollars, though the average is around 900. The IRS commissioner thinks with all the chaos in the first year of the pandemic, a lot of people might have just forgotten to file their 2019 tax return. Others might not have made enough money in 2019 to be required to file, but that doesn't mean they didn't qualify for tax credits. Either way, today is the last day they have to file and claim any refund that's owed. Otherwise, the money goes to the U.S. Treasury. You can file online or send in a paper copy as long as it's postmarked by today. And the IRS has some resources in case you need help with your return or have to track down any forms. We'll post a couple of links in today's episode notes. All right, thank you for listening today and allowing me to fill in. Erica will be back with much more news to know tomorrow. For now, have a great day.